everybody, my name is Richard and this is the commercial version, the van version of the VW ID.Buzz. Now VW vans have always been cool and I think this is even cooler. So brilliant van, love the look of it. I think most people probably agree. Let me know in the comments below what you think of the design of the ID.Buzz. I love it, I think it's fantastic. But it's got to work commercially, hasn't it? So we've actually been using this vehicle for the past few days, including loading it up and going to an event. So we've put it to hard work. We've covered a couple hundred miles in it. So in this video, I want to give you a review of this van. What's it like? What's it like to drive? What do we like? What do we not like? How much space is there in the back? What's its real world range and efficiency like? How much will it cost to run? So we're going to cover that review in this video now. My name is Richard Symons, this is RSEV, and this is the ID.Buzz. Right, so what we've got here is a short wheelbase panel van. So there's a long wheelbase version following on at some point later down the line. This is a short wheelbase. We've got twin side loading doors and we've got a tailgate at the back. It is a bit smaller than the outgoing like the T6 vans, and it is a bit smaller inside as well, and slightly less load capacity as well. We'll come on to that in a moment. Now underneath the floor here is the battery pack that powers this vehicle. It's over 80 kilowatt hours gross, about 77 usable, so a decent sized pack. And the range we're going to come on to in a minute, because real world range does vary quite a lot from what manufacturers claim. So we'll tell you exactly what it does cover in mixed conditions shortly. Now it's actually a rear motor, rear wheel drive van. That's unusual. Normally you've got front wheel drive. This one's rear motor. Drives really nicely. Again, we'll come on to that in a minute. Now it doesn't come cheap. This van here, it's worth just over £50,000. And VW vans have never really been cheap, have they? But people have still bought them in their droves because they are great and they look cool. And what I think it also is good for is branding and marketing. I can assure you, having driven this for the past few days, this gets a lot of attention. Everyone looks at it. It's a great looking thing and it could pay for itself with just the sheer attention it gets for marketing. So if you've got a business and you want to get a new van, hopefully an electric van could be the way. There's a good choice of vans out there now. Is the VW ID.Buzz the coolest? Well, you let me know in those comments. I think so. And when we talk about our real world efficiency test, you've got to see here we've got a roof bar set on here as well. So the extra kind of drag these create would also affect figures, but that's part of the test in real world use. Let's have a bit of a look around the van before we get stuck into it too much. At the front, there's not much to see under the bonnet here, but close it up, and I think you've got then this beautiful design. I really love the look of it. It was really nice, large, prominent VW badge, so some nice kind of retro touches there. You've got a camera up here on the windscreen, and then down here we've got a radar system as well, because this van actually has a bit like a Tesla autopilot, lane keeping, radar, cruise control, and that's very good. I'll come on to that in a bit. Now you see this one's got the regular headlights. I know the people mover version we've got inside, the 5-seater passenger version, has got the matrix headlights. This one doesn't, but it's still pretty good white LED lights, they're quite nice. But I just love the look of this. Now this does tend to pick up the flyers across the front here, but which van doesn't? We've got keyless locking and unlocking with electric folding mirrors. Side loading door opens this way. And what I did check was that this doesn't go so far as to bang the fuel flap, and they've put a stop in just so that it's there. And I say fuel flap, I mean the flap where you charge a car. Old habit of saying fuel flap. We've got to empty this in a minute. Should we show the inside first? Some really nice little touches around this. I noticed this just only this morning. Have a look in here behind this handle. There's a little like cap that probably covers a screw fitting for the door trim. But they've made a little winky face out of it. It's quite cute, isn't it? And you can see in the door as well, we've got a USB charger and a couple of pockets and a bottle holder at the bottom there. And as we come into here, this one's got the triple seats, so there's 2 passenger seats here. And you can fit 2 people on there. You know, for a long journey, they're going to be a little bit squashed up and you've got to sit quite upright, but actually you can get 3 people across here quite easily. Now you might notice the dashboard is quite different to the passenger version with the seats and the windows. So this is what that version looks like. And we did a little review video of this van that was out recently on our channel. So if you want to see more of the 5-seat version, check that out on a recent channel list. But into this van, it's a bit more commercial and a bit more industrial. So we've got a tray here of a nice rubber mat, sort of thing sliding around, a different dashboard panel along here. I think this is a slightly smaller screen than the passenger version as well. Very familiar to anyone who's driven one of the ID.Buzz, ID.4, ID.3s. The VW software there can be a little bit slow to get loaded, but actually is quite functional, works quite nicely. Got climate control. What's kind of odd, you've got temperature adjustment here, and you've also got temperature adjustment on this side, but it's not split climate. If I do that one, it adjusts the whole thing. If I do this one, it adjusts the whole thing, if that makes sense. Some air vents here, some practical. We don't have the big pull-out holder like you do on the passenger version here, but again there are a couple of cup holders down here and a bit of storage space, and you can put a phone down in this slot here. I don't think, is it a wireless charger? Yeah, I think it is a wireless charging pad actually on this one. And we've got a couple more USB ports, and then I think I've got another USB port on my side. Have I? No, I don't. I made that one up. It wasn't on that door, but we do have 3 USB-Cs there. And then up here there's also a 12-volt socket up here. And then in here there's actually another USB-C charging port. So that's 4 on the dashboard. You can see how much I've had to sit forward to even reach this dashboard. Very large distance between here and the screen.
Establishing a connection. To cancel the call, please press the button again.
Oh, cancel call. Yeah, cancel that. We don't want that.
Please inform the call handler immediately if you are in a dangerous or vulnerable location.
Cancel. Volkswagen.
Hello, Volkswagen Assist, just switching it down the wheel.
Yeah, I've pressed it by mistake and I can't work out how to end it. Can you end it for me?
Oh, I can end it, yeah. Have a lovely afternoon. Bye.
Sorry,
bye.
Thank you, bye.
You're fine, bye.
Cheers. I think I banged the button up here, which is the SOS button, so it's lovely the lady at VW is very convenient. So there's an SOS button up here if you get into trouble, and it will call straight away. I don't have my phone on me, so it's not using my phone connection. Anyway, you do have this very distant windscreen here, so even if I come to here and lean forward, I can barely reach the glass, so there's a huge distance here. This is all storage for putting paperwork and junk and McDonald's wrappers and stuff like that. Then there's another indentation here, you could probably slide even more paperwork and junk, so you can imagine how full this would become with some people. Of course not me, I'd keep my cabin very tidy. When you sit back here, it's a really nice, comfortable van to drive. It has to be said, like the trim is here. It's all kind of functional and durable, but it is nice. It's finished well. There's 2 things I can criticise it for here, really. One is, although I can adjust the wheel height like that, I found, oh, I can pull it towards me because I found I couldn't before. That's actually better, isn't it? Yeah, that's nice. Oh, it does that in the end. I'm sure I did that this morning and it wouldn't move. No, it does move. It does adjust. Okay, 2 things still. There are 2 things. One is the armrest here is a very durable hard bit of plastic. I guess it has to be. But actually, if you've got like your bare arm on that, it's a bit coarse and isn't that comfortable. So I'd prefer a slightly different material on this bit of trim here. Secondly, the previous owner's van actually fitted his own armrest like this. And it works brilliantly. He's fitted this. I don't exactly know even how he did it. So don't message me about how we get hold of them. I don't know actually, but this armrest is crucial. If you didn't have that armrest, I think it'd be kind of really weird. So I think adding an armrest is a great thing to have. But then you're left with this good cabin, good view. You've got these extra windows at the front for visibility, which is good. It does still leave a little bit of a blind spot over on this side because you've got the wing mirror combined with this pillar here. There is a bit, but again, it's a van. It's generally pretty good. It's hard to know where the front of the vehicle is when you're parking it. It does have front parking sensors though. It does have a rear camera. And it will take a bit of getting used to because from here I can just see the end of the glass over there. And I know there's not really much overhang in front of that. Something you soon get used to. But it's great. Do you know what? It drives really nicely. It's as car-like as a van can be. It still feels like a van in that you still get a little bit of that bounce over certain bumps. You can't really avoid that with a van. You're sitting kind of like much more over the front axle. But generally, it's really good and really comfortable. What does need special mention is the autopilot system. So you can engage that and it keeps the distance to the vehicle in front, but it also then keeps the vehicle in the centre of the lane. Much like Tesla Autopilot, and it actually works brilliantly. And then it adjusts the speed automatically when the speed limit changes. So if it goes down to 50, this slows itself down and goes to 50. And then it will increase again. It really does drive on its own. You could let go of the steering wheel for quite a long time, and you sort of think the van will be fine. It does soon start alerting you that you're not holding the steering wheel you need to be, because of course you do, but it really is quite competent and confidence inspiring with that autopilot system. And what's quite interesting is if you actually don't hold the steering wheel or not hold it firm enough, in fact it's just looking for movement like this, it does this little sharp dab of the brakes just to kind of wake you up. Like that, just like that. It's hard to describe it. There's this little sharp jab of the brakes to kind of bring your attention back onto the road if you weren't paying attention. So it's good. The nav system, everything quite simple, quite easy to use. You can pair your phone. I think we've got Apple CarPlay, Android Auto. Has it got that? Did you use it on your phone?
It has a
App Connect, yeah. So it's got that, nice and easy to use. I'm quite familiar with the system because we have a VW ID.3 at home. And although people are talking about the early days of the VW software crashing, we haven't had any problems with this one. In fact, we haven't had problems with ID.3 at home since the software update some time ago. So I think they've sorted that out now. A good, comfortable, pleasant vehicle to drive. It actually has these blind spot warnings in the mirrors as well, and that's actually quite good as well. I'll give it that. There's a glove box, of course. There, useful glove box. Some business card holders in there. There's no storage up here because it's not tall enough, but yeah, it's really nice. We like it, don't we, Gibbs?
It's very good.
Very good indeed, very good. Of course, we got folding mirrors and electric windows, and the air conditioning was good. It's really hot at the weekend. The air conditioning was really effective. Kept us nice and cool because we've got a bulkhead here. It was nice because it can cool this little cabin down really quickly. And that should help with efficiency as well. Whereas the passenger version, you've got that big open cabin, would take more to heat up in the winter as well. So, anyway, we'll come on to efficiency in a little bit. In fact, I'll hide that screen there. I'll come on to that separately. Let's unload it and show you exactly how much we got in the back. Did you press record?
I did, but imagine if I would. I would unload it all. Let me just double check.
So this is how much stuff it holds, a fair bit. And so our range test was with this load in it. Not the heaviest load in the world, but we've got a solid probably 300 kilos probably of various things here, so a little bit of weight. Of course, you've got to kit it out as you like it. Right, now we can show you what the inside looks like. And this is the inside of it, so you can see it's not the biggest van in the world. And there are a pretty good choice of vans coming through now. If you want the biggest, probably the 4D Transit, and we did a review on that, it is available. But we got quite a lot of stuff in this, and it was pretty practical. We've got some of these extra loading rails here, which I think are available from VW. We've also got on this one a deployable tow bar. I'll show you that in a sec. We'll put some measurements up here of the space, but apparently a double mattress fits down here. If I had a spare double mattress, I'd show you, but apparently a double mattress fits down here. So we're starting to see some of these come through as camper conversions as well now. That'd be pretty cool. One little feature we do have here for a slightly longer bit of wood is a little gap underneath the seat there. Not by much, but it goes under by that much for storing a slightly longer item. Got the bulkhead in this one for glass screen as well. And the previous owner also fitted one of these load covers here, which I highly recommend because otherwise you've got a painted bumper and you're loading things in and out. So I recommend fitting a kind of bumper protector like that. This being a tailgate version, we've got the wiper and the glass screen here. Again, a large VW badge there. We've got a light bar that runs across here, and then we've also got a reversing camera plus the sensors. But remember I mentioned it has a tow bar. If I haven't mentioned it, it has a tow bar. There we go. Deployable tow bar. I think that's brilliant. I can just release it like that. Clip it back underneath, out of the way, so you don't bang your shins every time. Brilliant, absolutely brilliant. Love that feature. It looks good, doesn't it? How can the back of a van look good? But it does look good. I like it. Nice LED lights. Cool. Right, we've got to get the stuff inside. You might have noticed we just launched a new website. On our website, you can go to a merchandise store. And in the merchandise store, just some stuff, some merch, as you'd expect. Some hats, some jumpers, some silly, funny designs and stuff like that. Be more to come. We're kind of messing around with it. But do check out our new merchandise store. We'll put a link underneath this video as well. Okay, so look at efficiency and real world range. So I've got a few different versions of the figures here for you. Since we charged this van 100%, loaded with the stuff, we went to a show, we were in and out of the van all day, and then we drove back down the motorway, and then commuting into work this morning. So a real mixture of use, high speed as well, including this roof rack, which would create a bit of extra drag, and two of us in it, and the load. I averaged 2.8 miles per kilowatt hour, so that's about as bad as we could get the efficiency. Now, since charging, we covered 146 miles, but I've got 28% of the battery left. In fact, indicating still 74 miles that I could drive based on the recent efficiency. So that would give a range of just over 200 miles. However, this morning when I just commuted and just came through town and some A roads to work, I got 3.8 miles per kilowatt hour. And that's much better. You could do well over 200 miles of range with that. And I've also got a long-term figure for this van, so it's covered just over 5,000 miles, and that's 3.1 miles per kilowatt hour. So I think for a van, those are pretty good numbers, and its real-world range is certainly over 200 miles. Not too bad at all. Now, what would this take to The wind's blowing. I'm just watching the TV over there. I don't know what was banging. We're all right. We're good. If that TV goes, I'll be up like lightning. So what does it cost to run? Well, ideally you can charge this back at base. You might plug into your unit here overnight and it's charged off the solar that you've gathered during the day, and then the next day for work it's all ready to go again. You could do another 200 miles. Of course, if you're doing more than 200, 220 miles a day, you might stop and fast charge, and it does charge fast. We've got over 180 kilowatt charging speed out there, so it's pretty fast charging. But most vans actually don't do that many miles in a day. Most of them are used locally actually. So, but anyway, what would it cost to charge up and run? So we've got 77 kilowatt hours of usable battery in this. The highest rate of electricity at home at the moment is 34 pence per kilowatt hour, but that is coming down very soon. So I'm going to use a figure of 30 pence per kilowatt hour, so 34 pence per kilowatt hour. If we times that by 77 kilowatt hours usable, you've got about £23 if you're going to charge this van at home. You might be to charge it at home. Commercial rates really vary, so it's going to be hard to give you the recharging costs there. But let's say you charge at home, £23 on the highest rate. Again, you can get cheap overnight tariffs, and that will take you over 200 miles. And it's just a great thing to drive as well. It's really good. I really like this little thing. I think it's the coolest VW van yet. Been a real pleasure to be driving it for a few days now. So if you've got one of these, you know, thinking about it, I highly recommend it. I know it doesn't come cheap, but just look at it. It's great, and it's great for marketing and branding. And it does a bit of carrying stuff pretty well as well. And it's lovely to drive. So here we have it, the VW ID.Buzz. Massive thumbs up for me. Real pleasure to have it. I'd actually really like to keep this on the business, but I kind of don't think I have that much use for a van myself. But yeah, it's great. I really want it, actually. It's a really great vehicle. So that's it from us for now. Check out the ID.Buzz for yourself. It's worth it. Stay tuned for some more videos. Plus, don't forget to check out our new website, because on there we have some merchandise and some more stuff following. We're just playing with some ideas, but check it out, see what you think. Get some RSEV t-shirts, help sponsor us with some hat purchases and stuff like that. And hopefully we'll still see you in another video very soon.